Afternoon, everybody. We apologize. We're running a few minutes late, but wanted to give everybody an update, and certainly we have some new information that has come out from our governor, Governor DeSantis. So I'll start there. Just let you know who we have in the room. I have our Brevard County Public Safety Director, Matt Wallace, will be with us and speaking. Our Commissioner Chair, Brian Lober, from our Brevard County Commission, will be also addressing us during this live Facebook feed, and Maria Stahl from our health officer from Brevard Health Department. All of us will be providing some information, as well as Don Walker, our Brevard County PIO, will be giving some information at the end on how you can get some more details on the stuff that we're about to announce to you, as well as some different resources that are available. So I'm going to start out with the governor's order. The executive order number 2091 just came out just moments ago. In fact, we're a little bit delayed getting to you because we are trying to still digest it. It's a pretty healthy document that has quite a bit of information in it. We're going to, later this afternoon, we will have that executive order in its entirety posted up. The website that you want to go to is brevardfl.gov. Again, brevardfl.gov. There will be an alert bar at the top. If you click on that alert bar, it'll take you to an immediate link for information and resources about COVID-19 and our response. So let's talk about the executive order first. It's going to take effect tomorrow night at midnight. So essentially 12:01 Friday morning is when the governor's order will take effect. And rather than trying to just kind of give you some pieces of it, I'm going to read a little bit of the executive order. And that executive order says, effective immediately, which this has kind of already been in place anyway, senior citizens and individuals with a significant underlying medical condition, such as chronic lung disease, moderate to severe asthma, serious heart conditions, immune compromised status, cancer, diabetes, severe obesity, renal failure, and liver disease, shall stay at home and take all measures to limit risk of exposure to COVID-19. Subsection B, in concert with the efforts of President Trump and the White House Coronavirus Task Force to fight COVID-19, and based on guidance provided by the Florida Surgeon General and State Health Officer, Dr. Scott Ravicki, all persons in Florida shall limit their movements and personal interactions outside of their home to only those necessary to obtain or provide essential services. Key word that's going to come into play here is essential services, or conduct essential activities. What's listed as essential services in Section 2. For purpose of this order and the conduct it limits, essential services means and encompass the list detailed by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and its guidance on the essential critical infrastructure workforce, V2, March 28th of 2020, and any subsequent lists that are published. Essential services also include those businesses and activities designated by Executive Order 2089 and its attachment, which consists of lists propounded by Miami-Dade County in multiple orders. Other essential services may be added under this order with the approval of the state coordinating officer in close coordination with the state health officer. State coordinating officer shall maintain an online list of essential services as specified in this order, along with any approved conditions. So jumping down, it's nothing in this order prohibits individuals from working from home. Indeed, this order encourages individuals to actually work from their homes. All businesses or organizations, this is Section E, are encouraged to provide delivery, carry out, or curbside service outside of the business or organization of orders placed online or via telephone to the greatest extent practicable. When you get to Section 3, essential activities. Now, this is the list that the governor's order shows as essential activities. For purpose of this order and the conduct its limits and within its limits, essential activities means and encompasses the following: attending religious services conducted in churches, synagogues, and houses of worship, and participating in recreational activities consistent with social distancing guidelines, such as walking, biking, hiking, fishing, hunting, running, or swimming, and also taking care of pets, caring for others, caring for or otherwise assisting a loved one or friend. Other essential activities may be added to this list with the approval of the state coordinating officer in coordination with the state health officer. A social gathering, this is under Section 3, subsection C. A social gathering in a public place is not an essential activity. By this order, local jurisdictions shall ensure that groups of people greater than 10 are not permitted to congregate in any public space. The last part of the order talks about that this shall supersede any conflicting official action or order issued by local officials in response to COVID-19, but only to the extent that such action or order allows essential services or essential activities prohibited by this executive order. So again, this is going to take place tomorrow night starting at 12 o'clock. So 12:01 Friday morning is when this order will be in effect. We're going to ask that everybody starts gearing up for this. Make sure that you have the supplies you need, as well as keep in mind, please don't hoard. There are 600,000 citizens in Brevard County, and we want each and every one of them to have the supplies and resources that they will need for the existence of this order. I think our governor will be coming out with a little bit more information, and I know that also when you have a chance to read through this order, I think it's about 40 pages long. When you have a chance to read through it its entirety, it'll give you a lot more information in regards to that. I'm going to ask our Commission Chair, Brian Lober, to come up and address us at this point.
Thank you, Sheriff. He's actually covered quite a bit that I otherwise was inclined to say, so thank you for making my job a little bit easier today. Like your shirt. I appreciate that. Yes, my mom actually got me this shirt, I think, for an anniversary or birthday gift. Be that as it may, we're still in the process, as the sheriff has said, of digesting this order. The order itself is approximately 40 pages long. So just because it says essential services doesn't necessarily mean that everything that you or I might consider essential is included or would be classified as such. So a lot of you are already aware that I had brought up a number of proposals at the most recent county commission meeting to try to enable folks to have an easier time maintaining a 6+ foot distance from one another. Until I have a better grip, which I should in the next few hours, of exactly what's included, exactly what's excluded from this order, I'm still going to press full steam ahead with the initiatives. With respect to one of the items that the sheriff touched on, as far as walking, I don't know that that would preclude someone from going to the beach. And if folks in Orange County and Osceola County, in some of the other areas, are now limited in what they can do even more than what their county's orders have stated, I am concerned that we may need to take more measures here, and we certainly will be discussing them at tomorrow's noon county commission meeting. So with that, I'm going to turn the reins over to either Matt Wallace or Maria Stahl. Who would prefer to go first? Maria Stahl from Florida Department of Health. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm just going to give a little bit of an update on our current cases. As of 11 o'clock today, we've had 38 cases. 4 of those cases are not residents in Brevard County. We have 7 in the hospital and 3 on ventilators. I want everyone to understand that we fully do expect our cases to increase. And the dashboard, the Department of Health dashboard is updated twice a day between 11 and 12 a.m. and 6 and 7 p.m. To go on to testing, we are testing at our health department clinics. We are testing for those at this time with symptoms, over the age of 65, anyone that has underlying health conditions, any of our first responders, and anyone else that has symptoms that has a note from their doctor. And the symptoms we're classifying as fever, cough, sore throat, or shortness of breath. If you have the symptoms and meet that criteria, you can call 321-454-7141. They will screen you, register you, and then tell you where to go for the drive-through collection. As I say that, we have heard from people that the hospitals are not testing. If you're shortness of breath or if you're in so much distress, then definitely you need to go to the hospital. Outside of that, please do not go to the hospital. The hospitals are not doing routine sample collection. They're doing sample collection on the patients that are in their ERs or on their floors that the doctors feel meet the criteria and do need the testing. The next thing, as Sheriff Ivey and Commissioner Lober mentioned, we want people to stay at home, most especially those over the age of 65 or those that are in immunocompromised status. Please stay home. If you go out, Please keep 6 feet apart and no groups more than 10 people. Lastly, if you're sick, stay home. If you're an essential worker at work and you get sick, go home. When you cough, cover your mouth. And that's really the update. I would continue to look at the dashboard, expect the cases to increase, and everybody, please just stay home. We'll get through this together, but you do need to stay home.
All right. Thank you, Maria. All right, now we're going to have our Public Safety Director, Matt Wallace, who apparently we shamed into not wearing his Alabama lanyard. So thank you for that.
Roll Tide. Well, now that you brought that up, Sheriff, I was asked to not wear the lanyard, so out of respect to those who asked me to do that, I do not have it on. Practically everybody. So good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for tuning in for this very important update that we have here today. I'd like to give updates from public safety organizations, which is the emergency management function in the Emergency Operations Center, or the EOC, and also from Brevard County Fire Rescue on what's happening. And from an emergency management perspective, I do have two pieces of good news to deliver to you today. We are in the process of acquiring a significant amount of personal protective equipment, or PPE, enough so that will fulfill the requirements of all our local hospitals, our local assisted living facilities, and our local senior care facilities. Any organization that has submitted a request to our Emergency Operations Center, this order that we acquire of the PPE should fulfill that requirement. It should be here hopefully within the next 7 to 10 days as we work through the acquisition processes. So I know one of the first questions you'll have is, do we have enough to make it for the next 7 to 10 days? And the answer is yes. We will be able to make it to that point till we get that resupply. This PPE equipment, as we have it coming in, has also produced a lot of local heroes across the county and our business partners. We've seen some fantastic innovative solutions about folks identifying PPE gear that we can redistribute across the county or across all the organizations to meet those requirements. So we have heroes among us who have identified that, and we're redistributing those now. So I just want to have a big shout out to those folks that coming with those innovative ideas, and our business partners who have donated PPE gear to make sure that we are all safe. The second bit of good news I have is on a state conference call that we had earlier today. Our emergency management professionals learned that Brevard will be getting sent additional testing kits. Those have been promised to us by the state. We'll be in work coordination with the Florida Department of Health to make sure we get those out as quickly as we can. One question we've had about EOC operations is, what does the level 1 activation mean? And I just want to put everybody to rest. We've been planning and executing this operation for weeks, actually for months now. Level 1 simply expands the number of agencies participating in the EOC activities so that we can cast a wider net to acquire the resources that we need. So we continue to ramp up, we continue to plan ahead, and we'll make sure we stay ahead of this curve. From BCFR and Brevard County Fire Rescue perspective, an update from them. They've asked, Maria has brought out very awesomely that when you're sick, seek help. And if that help results in a 911 call, we ask you to be very specific when you talk to the dispatch about what your symptoms are. And this does two things. It, one, allows our crews to prepare for when they make entry into your home and when we make contact, protecting our crews, but it also protects you. So we'll be there with the right supplies and the right things that we need to make a response on what your what ailments are. So please be very specific, do not be vague, and tell them exactly what we can do to help you to get through this situation. As the sheriff said, we will get through this, no doubt. We will be a stronger country, a stronger state, and a stronger county. But we will do that together, and I have no doubt we will. So to end it all, I'd like to turn it over to Don Walker, our Communications Director for Brevard County and our EOC, to give you some updates on where we can find information going forward. Don?
So as the sheriff mentioned, there is an online list of essential services that the state is updating. You can find those lists. There's floridadisaster.org. That's floridadisaster.org. And also floridahealth.gov. As Communications Director for Brevard County Emergency Management, I just want to take this occasion to inform residents tuning in that we are sharing and updating COVID-19 coronavirus information daily through a variety of avenues, including briefings like today's Facebook Live, the county's website, brevardfl.gov, social media, text messaging, and through traditional media. I also want residents to know that they can also call 211. That's 211. Specialists and volunteers at 211 can provide information on criteria for testing for COVID-19 and give you status updates on county facilities and services, as well as resources such as free meals for children and other financial assistance opportunities that are available in our county. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Sheriff Ivey.
All right, so just a couple things from the sheriff's office side of it. We are continuing our full service of patrol, responding to calls, any type of things that we would normally do. The only changes for us is our precincts, our lobbies are shut down. If you need services, all of our precincts have external phones, or you can call us and we'll have a deputy meet you. In addition, no fingerprinting except for sexual offenders. That will continue as we have stated before. Right now, we are looking through this order. Our legal team from the county as well as from the sheriff's office is sifting through it, seeing exactly what it means. You know, when you look at some of the essential services that are there, such as participating in recreational activities, walking, biking, hiking, fishing, we're going to have to determine if that is leaving our boat ramps open, leaving our beaches open, and our team will be able to decipher that, and we'll get you a little bit more information as we go. As from now, though, the order doesn't specifically say any of that is shut down, so we're gonna find out just how far the order extends, and we'll get that information back to you. Other than that, we're gonna try and update you again tomorrow. I'll take some questions. I know we may have some questions that have come in from our live Facebook feed, so we'll go ahead and start trying to field those.
So I have a couple of questions for Maria, if we want to start there,
Sure.
if you don't mind. Do you know how soon drive-through testing will be available?
Drive-through, the collection sites that we're doing right now at the health department is a drive-through clinic. It is a drive-through clinic. Like I said, what we do is when you call that number, we do the registration and screening over the phone, and they tell you where to go, and you go behind the clinic, and it is a drive-through collection site. There may very well be soon a private entity that will also be doing a collection site. We don't know the details of that yet.
You mentioned a phone number that they could call. Could you give the phone number one more time? 321-454-7141. And as I say that too, as we talked about the 211 information line, when they call that 211 information line, that is to give information. However, if they call that line and a person has symptoms, they also refer to that 454-7141 line. People are wondering, should they be wearing gloves and masks?
That's a tough question. The CDC guidance up to this point was no, but the CDC has been re-evaluating that decision. So we will be following the guidance of CDC and Florida Department of Health.
Okay.
So people would like to know, and you might still be working on this, what are the consequences for not following this order?
Well, we're actually trying to look into that. You know, to me, the consequences of from a legal standpoint are far outweighed by the consequences of people not using common sense and trying to eradicate this as soon as we can. We'll look and see what legal authority we have. Our legal advisor, I know Eden from the county, is looking at that, and so that'll be some of the information we update later.
Okay. And this is, I guess, for anybody really, but do we know about how long this is going to take?
The order itself, Eden, did it say? 30 April. Oh, I have it up here. 30 April. So it's April 30th is when the order will expire, but the governor does have the option to renew it.
Okay. And what are we doing about hotels, bed and breakfast, weekly rentals? Is there anything, and we might be looking over this, is there anything that says people should?
I see our commission chair standing up, so I think he is probably best suited to address that one.
So the plan, and this is independent of the executive order that came out in Tallahassee, is to propose again tomorrow that we restrict the usage of any sort of tourist recreational facilities that would house them. So whether it's a bed and breakfast, whether it's a motel, a hotel, anything of that sort, so that we do not accept leisure travelers. That's the proposal that's been put forth, and I do anticipate it's going to be up for vote tomorrow at noon at the County Commission meeting here in Viera. There are other things that are being done, but the real crux of it, I think what it'll hinge on, is getting confirmation that it is legal to restrict that particular purpose and to be sure that we can implement it. So essentially, someone that's here for work purposes where they're permitted to be here by that executive order that was just spoken about, we're not looking to restrict them. We're not looking to restrict folks who may have a family member that's isolating so that they don't automatically get it. We don't want to do that because we want to take steps to ensure that people can distance. But the folks that are looking at taking advantage of cheap airfare are the folks that we really don't want here at this point in time. It's not xenophobia, it's simply a desire to protect the folks that are here and to prize our constituents and our residents over and above everyone else. So if that's wrong, I'm wrong in this case, but that's what I feel needs to be done, and it's up to the commission. If I have two other commissioners that support it, that's going to be how it goes, but we should find out in less than a day's time.
And I'll add to that just a little bit. I know in some conversations that I've had, right in line with what Commissioner Chair Lober just said, our big focus, and this is not to say that we don't want people to come to Brevard County and travel here and enjoy all of the beautiful amenities that we have, but right now, we don't. We want to keep everything Brevard County related. We want to keep our citizens' resources available to them. And so, one of the things that I think the commission is going to look at tomorrow is, for example, our boat ramps. If you're not a Brevard County resident, one of the things they may look at is you're not coming here to use our facilities and stuff. And that's sad to say. We love the freedoms we have in this country and the freedoms to roam around, but right now, we gotta fix this. And so that's one of the things that will be considered tomorrow.
And I have one last question.
Sure.
And if you don't mind, they're having a hard time.
I'll repeat it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. So will the county actively discourage out-of-county spectators from upcoming human space flight?
I think, well, let me repeat it first. The question is, will we actively discourage out-of-town spectators from coming here for the planned space launch for next month? I think it's too early to even say that. A lot of that will depend on what our partners at the Space Center are even going to do. But if we're still in the model that we're in today, I would hope that we don't have to discourage anybody. I would hope that everybody's following the governor's orders and are doing exactly what we need to do.
Sure, let me jump in on that one too. I've got a slightly different opinion on that. Yes, please don't come next month. Please don't.
See, the difference though, Commissioners, I'm an optimist. I hope this is all over by next month, so. Okay, so we will get back to everyone as quickly as we can through the different mediums that we have. Please stay tuned to not only the Brevard County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, but also our Brevard County EOC and all of our government channels here. So with that, we're gonna close out, and I think tomorrow at 2 o'clock we are scheduled to do another live update for everybody. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate everybody following us, and I know our media partners will help us get this out even further. Thanks, everybody.